Y'all. Today is December 6th, 2024. It's a good day. It's Friday, I think. Yeah, Friday. Working four today. Pretty excited for it. Sorry I'm out of breath. I just swept my floor. I don't like doing things in the morning. I'm not a morning person. But I said I was going to do it, so I did. Goals for the day. Gotta take out that. Hold on. Gotta take out that guy. Gotta take out the trash of the apartment today. Um, it is cold. It is like snowing outside. I get up every morning and take my niece to school, and it is just colder than a cold, dude. Like, I'll roll in my car for 15 minutes, get in there, and it's still cold, and I'm just like, it's cold out here, bro. It's cold, right? I think that's, well, so I started a Pinterest account this morning, and I was gonna use it to market some of my insurance things. They have things you can post. I'm probably gonna post like a post every hour or something. They have like 1,000 things you can post. And I'm sitting there looking at it, like making the account. I'm just like, I don't know anything about Pinterest accounts. Like, I don't know what to call it. I don't know what to like put in things, and I don't really know anything about the company yet. So I'm like, I'm probably gonna have to wait for this Sunday to like an onboarding and like ask all my questions and see how to market through social media. But sorry, my cat's trying to break in right now. Kids, just open the door. Just push. Just push. Oh, he's not trying to come in. He's just being weird outside. He's lurking. Gosh. He knows how to open the door. I don't even know why I'm tripping. But yeah, I think that's all I got for today. Just working on social media. I gotta finish editing that video from yesterday. I think it's gonna be a really banging video. I'm actually really excited for it. Do I have any daily thoughts? Oh, I still have to call back my old upline from Primerica, and my leader sent something in the chat. I was like, "Don't worry about this. This has made it sound like a really intense conversation," and I was just like, I'm definitely recording it now. Like, I'm really excited for this. Right? Like, I'm really interested in what he's has to say. Because again, first time he's ever called me. Right? So I'm like, what are you saying to me that is so important now that you need to call me now that I'm leaving that you wouldn't have said to me when I was staying? Like, what? Right? So yeah, that's pretty fun. And then daily thoughts. I did have a daily thought yesterday. Oh my god, my daily thought was about how investing has become so ridiculous. Like, when you invest in a company, people will, you average 8 to 12% returns over the S&P 500, whatever. Like, obviously, the economy's changing. Like, things are about to get really hard. We need a recession really desperately, and the regular person isn't ready for one in general, right? But we need a really strong recession because I think it'll allow us to break up a lot of monopolies. But thinking about, so okay, I'll start here. So my grandfather owned dairies, like multiple dairies, like tons of acres, like tons of cows, and he was really wealthy in the 60s and 70s. Like, my mom has memories from her childhood of her mom writing $100,000 checks, like couple hundred grand in the 70s. So my mind is like, they are loaded, right? Like generational wealth type of thing. And I was thinking about his dad. So his dad grew up in the Great Depression. So Great Depression, and he had a son, and then he started to dairy, right? And I'm sitting there going, how did investments work for him? Because my great grandfather on that side was treasurer of the College of Idaho, like the first treasurer, the first guy, right? And he handled all their money and everything. And College of Idaho is right down the street from my house. And I'm sitting here going, how did investments work back then? Because you couldn't pull up your Robinhood app and invest real quick. Like, you didn't have those capabilities. Then you had to be over like phone calls and everything, right? But they didn't have like that. And so I'm sitting here like, would you do it over letters? Like, would you literally just send a couple grand in the mail, or would you like travel to the place, like the New York Stock Exchange, and buy something? Or would you get a random letter from a random person who knows you have money and goes, hey, I'm starting this business. I need $150 from you. I'll give you this percent of whatever. And I'm sitting here like, what was it like back then? Like that really intrigues me of how investing has changed over time because it really is like it's gambling, right? You don't know if your investment's going to go up or down for sure. Like it is gambling. And so when you have someone you know or don't know who's asking for money to do things you know or don't know they know how to do, like that's your risk, right? But we are so disconnected from it nowadays. Like why would a guy like me need to invest in Walmart? I wouldn't. Like a guy like me would never invest in Walmart if it were 100 years ago. Never once, right? But now you can buy a Walmart share and you're a part owner of Walmart and it's just like how does that work nowadays? That is so weird to me. That is so weird that we've changed so drastically because of long range telecommunication. Like how did people do that before telecommunication? How did you invest before phones? Because you'd have to hear about it from somebody. Someone would have to come and tell you to go to the New York Stock Exchange and buy shares, and you may be able to retire off this money. Maybe. At what point did we kind of like shift into this future era of I can buy everything from my phone? And now my generation's growing up as investing is like your money just goes up and up and up, and it's like no, like there's a reason that I live in a house where my roof looks like this, and my biological grandfather is writing checks for hundreds of thousands of dollars in the 70s because he got an investment idea from one of his friends, I'm assuming, and went pretty all in on it, really supported them, and it didn't pan out, so he didn't get paid back, and we don't have that money anymore because it's gambling. And my mom is always like, "Oh, it's a gambling thing." Like he had a little gambling addiction. And I'm like, he didn't go to Vegas and lose a couple hundred grand. Like he didn't. He heard about something, thought the risk was low, and it failed. Like that 3% to 13% of chance of failure panned out. Right? So he was like, I could get good money on my investment and then didn't. So that's my daily thought of the day is like, will we ever get that back? Like actual people trying to solicit stock buys instead of just being part of the S&P 500 or the Dow or whatever in order to get funding for more money in more locations and leveraging your debt against your own stock. Like it's such a weird world that we live in, and I think that it was much simpler and much more cutthroat back then. And people see their S&P 500 go down 3% and they start freaking out. But I was like, people in my family, who I never met the guy, but people in my family have lost hundreds of thousands on bad investments. Like their livelihood, like their house, like where they lived had to go because they couldn't afford to live there anymore. And that blows my mind. And they make investing sound so safe and so secure, and it's just like, yeah, well, we kind of just believe in it now. But back then, it was really different, and I really wonder like what the thought processes that went into it were. So yeah, that's my daily thought. How was investing 150 years ago? How was investing 100 years ago? Because I feel like I don't want to say after the World Wars, but after the World Wars, like after World War II, after the Great Depression, things kind of like changed after World War II. The world became a much different place post World War II. I wasn't there to experience it, obviously, but when I hear people talk about it or read in history books, and you see people like actually change the way they dress and everything. It seemed like a very different time to be alive. So yeah, uh, morning y'all.
One eternity later.